Hello guys, welcome back to the Beastie Room. Today we are going to have a pairing video. We've started to get a few of our spiders together. We're starting to get a little bit more time together, and hopefully we can start getting some of these spiders paired up before we start moving them over to the other room. Now I know you keep asking when are we going to get in the other room. Hopefully around about Christmas. We actually get around about 9 days off over Christmas, and so we're going to be visiting family for some of it, but it will allow some extra time to get in there and start doing a few bits, I hope, fingers crossed. So we've still got quite a lot to do, but hopefully over Christmas we should start getting a few spiders in there, so we'll be in between the two rooms. Now today we are going to pair the Grammostola pulchripes, the Chaco Golden Knee. Now this is it's an absolutely fabulous spider. It really is a cool spider, and I think they are so underrated because we don't hear about them much. We don't see them very much, but they are such an exquisite spider. Now they're a they're a large spider. They're a New World spider. They're often classed as a bit of a beginner spider. Don't let that fool you. These guys have got so many different things to keep you occupied. They really are an interesting spider. So even for advanced keepers, they make a wonderful exhibit spider. They really are very cool. So yeah, don't think because it's beginner spider it's boring. They're not. They really are quite fancy. So without further ado, let's go over, have a look, see how they got on. This is an interesting video, and it's only a short one, it's not particularly long, but it covers some really interesting points. If you want to start pairing your spiders, things to look out for, things to do. So let's go over and have a look. We can run through it and see what you think, and then we'll be back and we'll have a little chat. Alright then guys, I'll see you soon. Well, here we go. We're going to try and pair up our Grammostola pulchripes. Now we have two females of these. What a stunning looking spider. They really are so underrated. I'm surprised more people don't keep them because the females get absolutely huge. They get beautifully coloured, really nice. Now these guys are they're a terrestrial spider, and they come from Paraguay and Argentina. So they really are just a fantastic spider. Now this is the male, and you can see the hooks there, the tibial hooks on that front leg, silhouetted out, very clear there. And you can see the colouring. The male carries this colouring all the way through, right up to maturity. So when they're younger, it's very important that we sex them through molts because they look exactly the same. You can see his big pedipalps there now. Obviously before he matures, they would just be slim pedipalps, just like a female. Look at that yellow in them legs. You can see where they get their name, the golden. Now he'd sat there for about 45 minutes and really didn't do anything at all. So I decided to try and coax him in, and hopefully once he was in, he would pick up some of the pheromones off that webbing, and hopefully this would sort of kickstart him into getting going. That was the idea. Now we had seen a very slight shake out of our female, which sort of said that she was okay. So we took the opportunity to move him just a little bit. Don't let these guys deceive you. They are incredibly fast. They're classed as a sort of a beginner spider, but you should still be very wary. You know, these guys can deliver a nasty bite should one happen to bite you. And they are a big spider with big fangs. There we go, we can see them tibial hooks now. Very obvious there. And we saw there when we saw the female, she's much heavier set than him, although he is still, by male standards, he is still a chunky lad. He's a big spider in himself. See the female up the back there. Now we sat like this again for an awful long time, and our male just didn't do anything at all. He literally sat there. We tried all sorts of things to try and get him to do something, but he just seemed to want to sit and chill out. It was very frustrating. We spent a long time sort of playing around with these guys, trying to get them to sort of get sorted. Once they meet each other, it's normally pretty good. But yeah, they were very, very slow to start off. And as you can see there, our female's not doing anything, our male's not doing anything. So we're going to take it now. We are going to try and tempt him again. You see how we're going to do it very, very carefully, because we don't want him to run into our female. And whoa, there she comes. Look, you see that? Now you saw there, look at that. She is so excited. She is full on. She's like, hello, I know you've been there all along. Nice to meet you. Look at that. Absolutely wonderful. Now that took our male a little bit by surprise, because he was getting prodded from both ends. So he done the brave thing and he bailed out. So we are going to now, look at that. This is what we want to see in our female. That interaction. She is really, really on form. She is ready for courting. So we're going to catch our male up. He's literally just on the desk. He hasn't gone far. They don't generally tend to go far. And it just goes to show, you have to be really on the ball when you're pairing your spiders. If you're going to try and coax your male to do something, be ready for that female. And remember, as we've said in other videos, if you do get a little bit of a tussle between your spiders, always secure your female. Let the male run, do whatever he wants, but secure your female, because she will be the aggressor. She will be the one that will do the killing if there is any. So always be aware and be on top of your game, and make sure that you've got that female under control. Now we've got our male, we've boxed him up, and we've put him in the back of the enclosure now. There he is, up the top there. So he's got the high ground now, and hopefully he will feel a little bit more confident. And now that he's actually met her, and he's seen that she's quite lustful, she's more than happy to stop and have a chat with him. There you go. She's off again. Hopefully this is giving him the right signals to make a start and get going. Now, as you can see there, we're moving him again because quite a bit of time has passed with him just sat there. It's like they go to sleep sometimes, and very, very annoying, very frustrating, and sometimes we have to coax them along. Now, it must be said that we allow our spiders a long time to actually settle and work things out before we physically coax them ourselves. And I think it's very important that they get that time to establish themselves and see what's what. And also as well, you need to be keeping your eye on that female. You know, if she's giving you the right signals, then you can feel a little bit more confident to coax your male into moving or doing whatever. But just be very, very careful how you go about it, because the last thing you want is to startle your male and then him run straight into the female. And that could always end up badly. So we got our two there now. Our female's, she knows he's there. You see she's moving around a little bit. She's actually working her way out. So we don't want that. Now it's very rare that we actually interact with the female. Normally we don't bother the females whatsoever. But on this occasion we are going to have to coax her back in, because the action is inside the tank, not outside. So we don't want her leaving just yet. So we'll give them a few moments and then we'll see how they're going. I mean, we are literally right on top of them there. We can see exactly what's going on. And you can see from our male there, you get an odd little shake out of him. A little bit of vibration, not a huge amount. Just a tiny, tiny little bit. And we're just coaxing our female back. You notice how we use the length of the brush at first, and then we're just literally using the hairs on the brush just to move her actual individual legs and her pedipalps there. It's very important that she doesn't feel threatened in any way by that paintbrush, because that will change the mood completely. So now she's gone back in, our male is still sitting facing the wrong way. Now, considering they've already met, I'm surprised the male is still taking his time. You see him there? Look, he's just doing a little bit of tapping. She's responding. There he goes, a little bit of tapping. This is what we want. He's finally waking up. This is your one chance in a lifetime, my friend. Don't waste it. As we know, some of our spiders, their courtship can be very, very long. And others can be very, very quick. These guys are actually starting to stay on the long side. So now we've turned our male round. We always take this opportunity to try and get some nice photographs, because it's not often you actually get to really get some nice photographs of many of these spiders. So whenever we do a pairing videos, we try and get a few as we go along. There you go, look, everything about her is good at the moment. He is definitely making her do all the work. You see her abdomen there, she's in perfect health. She molted out, I think probably 12-13 weeks ago. So she's had a little bit of time. We have got another female as well, and that one molted out shortly after. And so we've been hanging on, because we're hoping that this male is going to see to both of these young ladies. There you go, look at that, look. See, as soon as she came over, she started, look at that, he didn't back off. This is what we're wanting, this is what we're hoping to see. You notice how he's holding himself up really high. Now we're going under, now he's going to try and inseminate now. Now it's going to be interesting to see how these guys go, because we have done them once before and they were very, very gentle. But she molted out, which was a real shame. So this is another male and another try. The colouring on those legs. Quite a hairy spider. Very, very similar to the brachypelmas in many of their ways. Although I would say these are quite often better than the brackies in terms of as an exhibit spider, they are reasonably active, whereas many brackies don't tend to do a lot. These guys are quite active, and they're just very, very colourful, and they're cheap as well. So, you know, if you're new to the hobby, these are an ideal spider. Get yourself a juvie, something that's about 1.5 to 2 inches big upwards. That will do you perfectly well. They are bomb-proof. There we go. Unfortunately, we can't quite see underneath there to see what he's doing. You can just about make out every now and again some pedipalp movement. Now, quite often or not, when they're like this, and you see a bit of movement, then it's quiet, quite often or not, he's actually inseminating at that moment. They don't always pull the abdomen down. So I'm pretty sure that he is actually inseminating as we speak. And then also as well, by the way she's holding herself and staying still, it sort of suggests that there is definitely something going on under there. Sometimes it's only the body language that we see from the outside that we can work out what is going on. We don't always get to see that insemination, and it's not always very, very obvious. So we have to try and work it all out and piece it together, a bit like a puzzle. All is good so far though. This is very, very good. You notice how her front legs are very relaxed. They're not sort of like hooked in any way. Sometimes when they're getting ready to pounce, they will hold them up, and they hold them quite rigid, ready to sort of slap them down. And they literally extend them front legs as far as they can, so that when they crush down on the male, the legs are fully extended, which gives them the greater chance of actually hooking him up. And as you can see there, he's doing a fabulous job. He's holding her up with very little effort. They're moving around a little bit now. This is a little bit awkward now because she is now on the higher ground. So we have to keep an eye. Just be in the ready. We're not too far away with a paintbrush. Although the way they're behaving, I don't think we're going to need it for the moment. You see that lovely size abdomen on her. Again, one of the things that we're always very proud of in the beastie room is even our hair kickers. Generally speaking, they have nice clean abdomens. And I think that's a good sign of a very relaxed life. So that's always a good thing. Now we're side on now, and neither has really got the upper ground. She's a little bit higher. So difficult to see. You see, you can't get any purchase there with that leg, so he's probably going to want to try and move around in some way. The other 7 will be holding him up well and truly. There you go, now he's moved her a little bit. Now you can see there how that leg that's actually going through the middle of her legs and onto the back of her carapace. You see how he actually holds her with that leg, and the opposite side will mirror image that as well. And that is what will hold that female and keep her in position. So that the pedipalps. Now he's actually got her pretty much upright now, so I would imagine her epigastric furrow should be easily accessible now, and I'm pretty sure he's actually inseminating as we go along. She seems to be in the right frame of mind. They quite often get into this sort of trance sort of state, and our female does appear to be a little bit like that. She really is just allowing him to do whatever it is he's got to do, and she is not helping or hindering in any way. Look at the size of those fangs. That fang is pretty much the length of her carapace. Huge. Which is another reason why we don't advocate handling of even the so-called beginner spiders. If she was to bite you, that's pretty much probably 1/2 inch fang, maybe more, 3/4. There you go. Now he's broken away there now. Now the way he actually came away very decisive. Now we've come in with a paintbrush because it actually looked, by the way he moved, that was a purposeful split. He wanted to actually move away, and you can see how his legs are going up the glass. He's looking for that retreat. He's looking for a way out, which would suggest that he has actually inseminated her while they were coupling there. So this is the important thing now. When you get to this stage, don't worry about your male. Forget all about your male. He can look after himself. Your female is what we need to secure. So we've actually got our paintbrush between her fangs, because she is now in a position where her fangs are splayed, and our paintbrush is literally, it's not touching her, but it's between them fangs, and that way we can control her. So if she was to make a sudden lunge for our male, we can in effect stop that lunge and our male will have that valuable few seconds in which to disappear and run away, because it's very important that he lives. We don't want to lose him. There you go. Look, look, look. You see that little flick from her? He's not particularly bothered. He's probably a little bit daft, this one, because I think I would have done a runner by now. You see now, we just touched her then, and you see how she responded to the paintbrush. So what we're trying to do now is we haven't really got enough hands. So we're hoping that we can move our male. Now, at the moment, all we're doing is we're just staying between the two spiders. Because if our male gets spooked and he runs into her and we've not got her protected, then he will end up becoming a meal. So what we're doing now, we've gone back, we're still trying to keep our female. We now need to get a box. And as you know, I like my cricket boxes. Here it comes. We put the cricket box between the male and the female. So the back of it is against the female, and we coax our male into it. And that is how we remove him. So he will go back into his box now, have a drink, and then we'll give him a feed as well. So that's him. He's all happy, ready for another day, and he's got another female to come and have a look at, and we will double him up with this one. We will try this one again. There you go. So there she is, still in that stance-like position, hopefully inseminated. But we will give her another go in about a week's time. What a cracking spider. Well, as I said, they really are a fancy spider. The yellow, that golden yellow in their legs is just exquisite. And like I say, they get real big as well. They really do get a substantial size. Now, our females have still got a little bit of growing to do. I mean, they're big spiders now. They're like this. So they are big, big spiders. I would say they probably, at the moment, have got to be around about, they've got to be 14 centimetres, something like that. So they've still got a little bit to go, but what an impressive spider. Now, some of the interesting things that we came across when we paired these, we have paired them once before, a while back, and we didn't get to film it, and our female molted out. So that was a little bit unlucky, and it was only a bit of a gamble really, because we had a female come in, we didn't know any history about her, and then sometime later we had a male come in. So we had them there. Our other female, she was too near the end of a molt, so she was getting ready for molting, so she was no good for this male. So we thought, right, we'll just try them and we'll see what happens. We've got nothing to lose. We did do. Our male, he ended up going on somewhere else to see another girl, and unfortunately our female molted out sometime after. So it was a gamble that didn't pay off, but you know, you got to be in it to win it. So with these guys, we've got them together. Our female there, she molted out I think 12-14 weeks ago, and our other female, we've been holding off and waiting, and she is molted out as well. So that means that this male, we can make use of him on both these females now. We didn't want to do one female and then lose him and maybe not get the other one ready. So we held off, and hopefully he's going to sort out both females. But as you saw in the video, he was very, very slow to get going. He just really didn't seem to have much of an idea at all. Now, when you're coaxing your male in this sort of situation, it's important that you read your female. If she's given any signs of not being particularly comfortable or being aggressive in any way, be very, very careful how you manipulate that male. Also, if your male is incredibly skittish, some of these males are so skittish you've only got to touch them and they fly off. They're the males that you really don't want to be interacting with, because 9 times out of 10 they will run in the direction of the female, because you're coming from one side, you want them to go forward. They will run and bump into the female, and often or not in that situation they will end up as dinner. So be very, very careful. Try and work out how your male is, whether he's a flighty one or not. We know this one is pretty good. He's pretty solid. We can manipulate him and move him around and do things, and he's not afraid. And our female, she was ready. She'd done a little bit of shaking in the background, very, very faintly, but it was there. So we knew she was sort of on a good note as well. Now, when they did finally get to move, you saw how we moved him very, very gently, and then she spun round. She made a like a mock charge at him. They touched, and then they came away, and then he literally went outside the enclosure. Always important that he has access to be able to run away so he can escape. And then you saw our female. She was full on. She was absolutely rampant for him, but he'd done the runner. So we had to catch him up, and we put him in the back of the tank, which is where he sat again for probably another 40 minutes, not doing anything at all. So we had to tickle him again, try and get him round. Eventually, when they did finally come together, you saw they come together really well, and they just hit it off straight away. And then obviously he held her up straight away, and I'm pretty sure he inseminated rather quickly. I don't think it took too long before he actually found the spot and he was inseminating. Sometimes you can tell by the angle of their bodies and what they're doing if you can't always see it. And this was one of them situations. We couldn't quite see whether he was inseminating or not, so we had to try and work it out by the telltale signs going on between the two spiders. And I think he did. The way they parted at the end, I would say that he probably has inseminated her. So what we will do now is we will keep him on his own, feed him, water him for another 3 or 4 days, and then we will try him with the other female. So he's already been in with this one. We will now try him with the other one. The reason we do that is because if we tried him a second time with this one and she has been inseminated, she may be a little bit more aggressive towards him if she's been inseminated. So we don't want to lose him at that stage. So we wait, we put him in with the other fresh female, which hopefully he will get to inseminate her. Then he will go back and he will try the second time with this female. And then that way, if it does go bad, he's already been with both girls. And then that way we've sort of doubled our chances. So it's important that the second one, if you've got multiple females, pair them all up once, then go back and start again from the one that you started with. And then that way, if you lose your male, he's had the best chances of actually procuring a viable sack. So always do that. Now when you saw when we were separating them, it's important, you don't often see in the videos, but we are there all the time. We are ready to step in should we need to. Most of the time we don't need to. It's really quite strange. I'm very surprised when I see a lot of videos of pairing spiders, how aggressive they are towards one another and how the whole thing plays out. We find, generally speaking, that most of ours, there is not this aggression. And I think this is down to how we condition them from the very, very beginning. With like food, water, everything, the whole thing that we do. And we condition our males as well. And I think a lot of people, they don't actually put any effort into their males. So quite often or not, their males can be a little bit on the skinny side or malnourished and things like this. So it's important that we get them both in tip-top form before we get to put them together. And sometimes this might mean we've ended up occasionally, we've purchased a male because our female is ready, she's molted, she's all ready. And then when we've got him, we've looked at her and she's like, her behaviour's not quite right. So we're going to hold off. You know, and sometimes we've held a male for 2 or 3 months after we purchased him before we get round to putting him in with that female. So it's important that we wait and make sure that that female is ready. At least then that way, even if you wait 2 or 3 months, he will go in, hopefully do his job. We can then move him on to another one or, you know, to someone else who needs him. Rather than just buying him, getting him that same day, throwing him in with our female and she eats him. You know, it's important that we take our time. You know, there's no rush in this, and I think it's worth mentioning that if you're new to it, just slow down, take your time. You know, get your spiders exactly where you want them. You've got a lot of time. Many people worry that their males are going to die. We actually still buy and use old males. It's not a problem, provided we know they're old when we buy them. You know. And we've got a few people that we deal with who send us spiders as and when they mature and bits and pieces. And you know, quite often they'll message us, say we've got a super fresh one molted out yesterday. He'll be ready to post in a week's time. Do you want him? Yes, we'll take him. And then we get others from the same people. I've got this old male here. He's absolutely geriatric, but he's still making a sperm web. Are you interested? Can you use him? Yes, we can still use him. You know. Admittedly, he'll have a limited life, but he's only got to live long enough to do his job. So don't always be put off if a male is a few weeks or a couple of months old. Depends on the species. You know, some species die off quicker than others. So just be careful. Yes, so when we split them like that, it's important that we secure our female, and that's the idea with a paintbrush in between her fangs. Don't touch her. Important that you don't touch her. You'll notice there that at one point we did actually touch her, and you see she reacted straight away to it. We don't want that. We want to try and make sure that we don't touch her if at all possible, and then that way we can keep her in one place while we secure our male. And it's always important that we secure the male. Don't worry about the female. Just keep her under lock and key if you like. Keep her protected. If needs be, get another cricket box and put it over the top of her, and then secure your male. Always secure that female first, because she is the danger point. She's the dangerous one. Right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video and got some good little tips and points as to where you can go forward with your own breeding. We've noticed over the last couple of years now, there's an awful lot more people are actually pairing their spiders and having success. And I think this is amazing. Absolutely fantastic. I'm so happy that people are out there and giving it a go and seeing the actual joys of that side of the hobby, because it is really rewarding to put all that work in and then get an egg sac and get young spiders. Some of them you can keep and grow them on yourself. You know, it's lovely to pull a spider off the shelf and say, I bred that and it's this big. Absolutely fantastic. So I hope you enjoyed it, learned a few bits and pieces along the way. We've got many more pairing videos coming up, and yeah, we will start putting them out there, and hopefully you'll enjoy them just as much as this one. Right then, don't forget, be calm, be gentle, and love your spider. And I'll see you all soon, guys.